What's on your mind, Alicia Mackay?
I'll tell you what I have been thinking a lot about is about, like, what's your job?
Yeah.
We've talked about this a lot.
I'm interested in this.
What's your job? Like, really? What's your actual
What are
job?
you actually here to do?
What are you here for?
What's the value you're going to add?
Yeah, and what are you doing that's not your job? And how are you making it possible for other people to know what their job is and do it? Because I'm a shocking boss, right? We've talked about this at some length. Terrible boss. You don't want to work for me. Or do you? No, you really don't.
With her is a different story than for her.
Yeah, I'm a shocking boss because I run off and do whatever's in my head, and then I expect other people to read my mind, and then when they don't, I'm like, oh.
At least you've got awareness around that.
It's the first step. Unfortunately, so far it's the only one. And then I'm like, you didn't read my mind, for God's sake.
So you've got two questions, right? One is, what's your job? And the other one is, how do you let others know what their job is?
Yeah, well, I think it's all part of the same question.
Totally.
Because I think you teach what you most need to learn, right? One of the things that I work with other leaders on is getting clear about what they're supposed to be spending their time and energy on, and then making it really easy to build the systems and give the direction for others.
On the way here, I had a conversation with a senior leader at a social enterprise platform organisation, right? So they provide a digital platform for community groups to do their work, right? And they're a social enterprise.
Yeah.
And she was so articulate about what they did and why they existed. This is in the car, on the phone. Within 15 seconds, I had real clarity. They know what their work is, what their job is. So it's not just individuals, right? It's like whole groups of people, organisations.
Yeah.
And how often do we spend time on stuff that doesn't matter? I'm challenging my team at the moment on that. So what's the stuff that we're doing that just doesn't add any value whatsoever? But we do it because we think we need to, because someone else has asked us to, or we just think that'll be helpful, but it's not, right? And all this rubbish. So how do you get around that?
Oh, it's a hard one, isn't it? Because most of us, well, yes and no. So when it comes to changing, when it comes to unlearning and relearning and changing, that bit's hard. When it comes to starting fresh or having conversations about what it really means or what you're really about, that bit's not so hard. It's the other stuff.
Well, maybe, and this is just an idea, what if you started every day afresh to go, what's my job today, really? What's the thing that I'm really here to do today? So that might be one thing. But on the other hand, is it really hard if you just ask the question, what's going to make the most difference to the other person, or what do you really need from me or need from us? And actually asking that question and giving them a damn good listening to.
Yeah. I have a whole segment in one of my strategy long-term planning workshops that I've run a bunch of times over the years, where I have counsellors and senior managers, or politicians and senior managers, or board and senior managers in the same room, and then I go, right, what's your job?
Yeah.
What are the most important things that you do? And they tell me really clearly. They go, our job is about navigating the future and leading through change and providing direction. And then I go, yeah, cool. Can I have a squiz at your calendar? And then they go,
no thanks.
And they squirm, right? Yeah. And I don't think the problem is that we don't know what our job is. I think sometimes we struggle to explain it in an articulate way, but I don't think the problem is we don't know.
And then, I think there's a gap between espoused, how I add value, and then real. I did a time log last week, actually, on my time for a day.
Did you? Can I see it? Can I look at it?
I'm a little embarrassed too, because what I noticed, it was really, really helpful, because what I noticed was how much time I was spending in stuff that actually I don't need to be, either because it's not my job or it's because I haven't thought whether I need to do it or not. And I was sitting there going, crikey, no wonder I get frustrated. So I shared that with my team, and they're doing the same thing. We're doing it for a week. We're just going to log our time for a week, all of us.
Okay, you've inspired me. I'm going to do that.
And minute by minute, and then having some notes. And I've got the column, so I went, what did I do? How long did it take? Is it something in the future I want to keep or let go of? That was just two columns, K or L, I think it was, and then notes, right? And then the notes was all about, so what bucket does it live in? And I found there's lots, for example, for me, which is in program management. I'm like, I don't need to do this stuff, right? And what was interesting is the stuff I love to do on that particular day was relatively small. A lot of the stuff I was doing was stuff I'm good at doing, easy for me to do, but it's not really what.
So the useful question is figuring out why you're doing things that you know as soon as you fill in the table isn't aligned to your time, right? So when you work with a nutritionist, the first thing they have you do is keep a food diary, right? It's the same thing. What are you eating? But
bring the awareness up, right?
But it's not that people don't know how to eat well. They know. The question is around, so what's driving that behaviour? What's triggering you to make that choice?
Well, you know
what are you looking for?
I think that's one good question. Another good question, though, is like, what am I actually doing? So even simpler, right? So the result of that activity, just in one day, the awareness I had was like, well, something needs to change. and it wasn't even an analysis of why I'm doing it. It's just like, I don't actually need to be doing this. What even is it?
It's like your budget.
Yeah.
You sit down and you're like, I know where I spend my money. And then you do a bank statement review and you're like, I spent 94% of my income on food.
So, what an interesting conversation. What's your job? What's your team's job? What's your organisation's job? How clear are you on that? But more honestly, not more honestly.
Nah, more honestly is good.
More honestly.
Real talk.
But real. So, are you being honest with yourself about how you're spending your time? Are you being honest with yourself about how much value you're actually adding? Food for thought.